Video essays. They're everywhere. In 2018, YouTube's movie scene is absolutely bursting with hot takes and VHS tapes about why Justice League failed and why Thanos is great. But just a few years ago, they were kind of a rare commodity on the site. I should know, I made one just as the genre was taking off. Back in 2014, alongside my buddies Sean and Larry, I co-founded a video-based film culture website called Rule Thirds. You know, like the rule of thirds, but alright. Each of us had our own separate shows, and mine was to be a series about the hidden themes behind popular films. I called this series Thought Process, and the pilot focused on the 2013 sci-fi indie darling Her, starring Joaquin Phoenix and directed by Spike Jonze. This was right before every frame a painting exploded and gave rise to the modern film essay, so I wasn't working with much of a template. It's been 4 years, and I think now is a good time to put this passion project in front of a new audience. Just a heads up, I was definitely a different video producer in the middle of college from what I am today, and this video reflects that. Oh boy, it reflects that. I'll still be here afterwards to talk about the video, so stick around, will ya? Enjoy. Roll 212. In the beginning, before art, culture, or civilization, there was storytelling. Mankind's oldest tool of understanding has been an irreplaceable part of the human experience, since it began millions of years ago. And as the species has grown over hundreds of millennia, so too has narrative. The stories told today are riddled with countless layers of underlying ideas, concepts, and perspectives, waiting for those curious enough to expose. In 2013, a man told a story about the breakdown and subsequent reconstruction of the most universal emotion on Earth. The evolution of love. Los Angeles, 2025. Theodore, a recently divorced introvert, boots up a computer program in solitude containing the most advanced artificial intelligence ever created.
Hello, I'm here.
The AI is designed to adapt and evolve as it interacts with humans, and unlike previous iterations, it has a conscience to match. She calls herself Samantha, and a bond is born.
Was that funny?
Yeah.
Oh good, I'm funny.
Thus begins the central narrative of Her, with the trials and tribulations of a romantic relationship between a man and an operating system. Though heavily dealing with the psychological effects of advancing technology and the struggles that introverts face in a serious relationship, Her delves into a much larger dissection of the modern understanding of traditional romance. Writer-director Spike Jonze incorporated several plot elements that suggest the entirety of traditional marriage and relationships, in both reality and the realms of pop culture, are fading into obscurity.
Chris, my best friend. How lucky am I that I met you 50 years ago?
The evidence to suggest this underlying deconstruction begins at the workplace. Theodore is a writer, paid by clients to construct beautiful love poems and romantic letters to send to their significant other. In centuries past, affection would be primarily expressed through written material. Poems, sonnets, even entire novels were written to convey the writer's unrestrained and unfed fondness for another. Her opens with these timeless methods serving as the foundation for a successful business model, paving the way for a new paradigm to be explored.
They're just letters.
What's that?
They're just other people's letters.
The estranged marriage between Amy and Charles, close friends of Theodore, is another carefully constructed part of Her's overarching breakdown. Jones uses this tumultuous relationship to criticize a dog-eared character layout, the no-nonsense, by-the-numbers businessman who falls for the free-spirited artsy woman. This layout is seen in dozens of romantic comedies, including Along Came Polly, Stranger Than Fiction, Pretty Woman, and Something Wild. Charles and Amy's marriage represents a depressing epilogue for this plot cliché, indirectly criticizing the formula for which love is most commonly conveyed on the silver screen.
Stop. You know, I had to finally stop because I just couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't be in that place anymore where we just made each other feel like shit about ourselves.
But what is unquestionably the most important piece to Her's puzzle is the level of tolerance toward intertechnological relations displayed throughout the course of the film. Theodore's friends and co-workers all embrace his unusual endeavor and affection without a second thought.
Hey, you know what? We should all go out sometime. You bring Samantha, be double dating.
She's an operating system.
Cool. Let's do something fun.
What solidifies Jones's point most of all is who's on the opposite end. The two participants in the divorce that begins the entire narrative. The only two people that disapprove of Theodore and Samantha's relationship are Catherine, Theodore's ex-wife, and Theodore himself, who's been second-guessing the relationship since it started.
Am I in this because I'm not strong enough for a real relationship?
Is it not a real relationship?
This is Her's crux, its core, the breakdown of what once was and a prediction at what could be, as well as our reaction to it. The past fuels this fractured connection, and its downfall is an accumulation of Jones's thesis, that tradition should be left in the catacombs of the past.
I think anybody who falls in love is a freak. It's a crazy thing to do. It's kind of like a form of socially acceptable insanity.
Though it takes place in the future, Her is most certainly about the present. Current cultural conceptions about romance and affection are brought into the limelight and promptly shattered to pieces, while new ideas are put on display for all to see. Spike Jonze made an effort to tell a story that was both a personal ballad and a broad statement about the broken mechanisms that revolve around romance, ever present in the modern day. However, the film's closing statement isn't the gleeful look forward that is to be expected. As the film's controversial ending suggests, we as a species may not be truly ready for what the evolution of love could look like. Wow. You know, I was actually proud of this once. Like, I thought it could really take off. Good lord. Anyway, thank you for watching my very first video essay. It's pretentious, and it tries way too hard to mean something, but I think it's, okay. I mean, look, your first time doing something is never your best, right? I figured I'd give this video essay series pilot a new home on this channel since video essays are like the only thing I make at the moment. You know, I still agree with most of what I said back then, even if I don't like how it was said. As I continue my time here on YouTube, I feel like it's worth opening the vault every once in a while and reflecting on forgotten projects like Thought Process. After all, this failure didn't stop me. Certainly not. Okay, enough waxing nostalgic, I should probably get going on my next video. Unfortunately, this is where I leave you, but thanks again for watching, and make sure you subscribe before you go. We passed 600 subscribers recently, so that's pretty awesome. Thanks everybody. Until next time.